Can the US stop what BRICS has united? Or is this the moment when the balance of power truly begins to tilt? For decades, the world has viewed China and India as rivals, locked in a complex dance of competition and conflict. But as Chinese President Xi Jinping recently put it, the time has come for the elephant and the dragon to dance together, a metaphor signaling a fundamental shift in their relationship. Once divided by border tensions, economic rivalries, and Western influence, these two Asian giants are now moving in rhythm, forging a new path, not just as neighbors, but as key pillars of BRICS, an alliance that is rapidly reshaping global power. And the United States, it has spent years trying to keep them apart, leveraging trade, diplomacy, and military alliances to maintain the old order. But what if that strategy no longer works? This isn't just about regional politics. It's about the very foundation of international influence. The BRICS alliance is strengthening, the world economy is shifting, and Washington is running out of ways to control the narrative. So the real question is, has the US already lost control? Let's break it down. The world's two most populous nations, accounting for 34% of humanity, have a long and complex history. For years, the border dispute at the line of actual control defined their relationship. Then, in October 2024, something changed. India and China officially began resolving their border standoff, opening the door to deeper cooperation. This wasn't just about diplomacy, it was about a fundamental shift in strategy. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi put it bluntly in a recent interview. Our ties have been extremely strong with deep cultural connections. Instead of discord, we emphasize dialogue because only through dialogue can we build a stable cooperative relationships. But why now? The short answer: economics and geopolitics. India and China already account for over 50% of global economic growth, versus just a tenth for the United States and Euro area combined, according to the IMF reports. With Western economies struggling and Washington using sanctions as a weapon, both countries have realized that their best path forward is together, not against each other. This isn't just about China and India, it's about the rise of BRICS. For years, the BRICS original bloc, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has been dismissed as a loose collection of emerging economies. But now, it's becoming a serious alternative to Western-led global institutions. And here is where things get interesting. BRICS is changing global economics, aiming to reduce reliance on the US dollar. This shift responds to geopolitical tensions and sanctions used as economic weapons. BRICS members are adopting bilateral currency swaps. They also use regional payment systems to bypass dollar-dominated markets. These steps help them resist unilateral financial pressures. India showcases this strategy. It trades $200 billion annually with the United States in dollars, yet it expands rupee-based deals with Russia, the United Arab Emirates, and Singapore. This balances sovereignty with practical economic ties. China, on the other hand, by its cross-border interbank payment system, CHIPS, challenges dollar dominance too. Its digital yuan supports sanctions-resistant transactions. A unified BRICS currency remains a distant goal or just a fancy talk. Still, localized solutions weaken dollar reliance. The shift is pragmatic, not ideological. For example, India's rupee-ruble trade with Russia surged after 2022. Liquidity challenges persist, but the system works. China's manufacturing strength lets Russia bypass Western sanctions. BRICS nations aren't abandoning the door entirely. This must be clear. They diversify tools to protect economic autonomy. This fosters resilience in a competitive global landscape. Each transaction subtly reshapes finance away from dollar-centric systems. Anyway, all these moves threaten the dominance of the US financial system, and Washington is not happy at all. The Biden administration has tried multiple tactics in the recent past to push India away from China, including sanctions threats over India's purchase of Russian S-400 missile systems. But it hasn't worked. India secured a waiver and continued businesses as usual. And that brings us to the next key point. For decades, US foreign policy followed a simple formula: keep China and India at odds, use economic pressure to control their strategic decisions, maintain dollar dominance as the world's reserve currency. But now, that formula is falling apart. Even within Washington, some politicians are admitting the truth. US Vice President J.D. Vance made a shocking statement about globalization. We assumed that other nations would always trail us in the value chain, but instead they caught up. The reality is clear. China and India are no longer just factories for the West. They are now innovation powerhouses, dominating industries that will shape the future. The US tried to use sanctions to keep them in check. Instead, it pushed them closer together. Trump's trade war on China was supposed to cripple its economy. Instead, it's accelerated China's technological independence. India, once a reliable partner in countering China, has realized that following Washington's lead means sacrificing its own strategic autonomy. So it's doing something different. It's playing both sides, securing its own path forward free from Western influence. And now, as usual, let's talk numbers. BRICS is already larger than the G7 in terms of purchasing power parity. By 2030, India is expected to surpass Germany and Japan, becoming the third largest economy in the world. And here is the biggest shift yet: the BRICS expansion. At the 2023 BRICS summit, the group invited Saudi Arabia, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Argentina to join. This isn't just economic, it's strategic. By bringing in key oil producers like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, BRICS is positioning itself as a direct competitor to Western-led financial institutions. And remember that BRICS currency alternative we talked about earlier? With Saudi Arabia on board, the petrodollar system, the backbone of US financial dominance, could be at risk. Washington sees this as an existential threat. But the US has one major problem: it cannot stop it. Sanctions. Countries are finding ways around them. Military threats. No appetite for another war. Economic pressure. The US needs India and China just as much as they need the United States. So, what happens next? The US still has one play left: divide and conquer. Washington has been trying to pull India deeper into Western alliances like the Quad, US, Japan, India, Australia, AUKUS, Australia, UK, US military pact, the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, a counter to China's Belt and Road Initiative. But here is the problem: India isn't playing along. Instead of picking sides, India is choosing a multipolar approach, working with both the United States and China while keeping its independence. That's why BRICS is growing. That's why India and China are strengthening ties. And that's why, for the first time in modern history, the global power structure is shifting away from the West. This isn't just about India and China. It's about something much bigger. For over a century, the US controlled the global economy, the financial system, and the rules of international trade. But now that dominance is fading. The BRICS Alliance is not just surviving, it's thriving. The US is trying everything to stop it, but the world is changing. And the biggest question now is, can Washington adapt? Or is this the beginning of the end for US global influence? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this analysis valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global power shifts. Because this story is far from over. If you want to support our team of freelancers, you can do it via Super Thanks on YouTube or through our Buy Me a Coffee page. Links are in the description. But now we have also launched a BRICS themed shop. You will find t-shirts and other gadgets right under this video. By getting one, you are not just supporting us, you are making a statement. BRICS is rising, China and India are uniting, and the US is losing its grip on global dominance. The world is shifting. Are you ready? Thanks for watching.